Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Podcast. I'm your host, Perry, and with me this week, wrapping up the spooky season, is an image of the Whiskey Mutant. Eric, what are you doing, man?
I had to get my costume on.
Okay. Were you going to turn your camera back on?
Because this is a nightmare on Marzipan Street. I'm Freddy Minnick. Bitch. Let's get these awards going, motherfuckers. I'll see you in my dreams. Your dreams. Oh, the tater dreams. Because I'm coming for you. Bitch.
Oh my gosh. The fact that you've got the little cutout for the goatee as well, dude, that's exceptional. Wow. Freddy Minnick, welcome to the...
You know that picture. You know that picture.
He did the, for everybody listening to this episode, he did the face. Fred's face that he does in that promotional picture. Wow. That when did you come up with this idea?
Right before we left, I was like, God, like, so me and April, like, this is all going to, everybody, if you were on my Instagram or whatever, we're dressing up as Gomez and what's her name for?
Oh, Morticia, yeah.
Morticia for tomorrow. Heck for
yeah.
trick-or-treating and stuff. But I was like, I got to do something for our Halloween episode. And I was looking around and I was like, well, there's Freddy. I could be Freddy Krueger. But I was like, that's not good enough. And I was like, what else could I do? And I found in my old Whiskey Weekend bag, somebody gave me a piece of marzipan candy. And I was like, oh my God, I could be Freddy Minnick. And
it's so good, dude.
This thing is so tight on my face.
Oh yeah, I mean you don't have to keep it on much longer. Is Freddy Minnick better or is Fred Krueger? Does it have to? I think it needs to be Minnick. I think you hit it right the first time.
Freddy Minnick.
Yeah. Man, that's so good, dude.
1, 2, Freddy's gonna give an award to you. 3, 4, you won't get your bottle no more. Not
all right, well,
San
how about
Francisco.
Freddy versus Flippers. All right, well, while you're disrobing, I'll go ahead and let people know a couple of things about the show. If you are here for the first time and you have not yet subscribed, please do so, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast app of choice. Wow. Oh, my gosh, it was Eric all along. You were never really Tom Cruise.
If it would have been for your kids and your stupid dog.
Oh, you're going to keep the shirt on, too. I would imagine I was going to say, that's probably one of the warmer parts of the outfit as well. But you can also follow us on social media at My Bourbon Pod and at Whiskey Mutant. You can also check out all of our apparel and merchandise at bourbonshop.threadless.com. Hot take, first alert news. You guys, not even a hot take. You guys are just finding this out right now. There are 2 new designs up on the shop. Got inspired by some of the stuff that I studied in college, and I figured I would put it to good use for some bourbon shirts. So go and check out that over there. And I took too big of a drink of water before I started talking, but here we are. Oh, and also support the show on Patreon, patreon.com/MyBourbonPodcast for as little as $1 a month, for as little as $5 a month. Bonus content, including this week, the penultimate episode of Season 3 of Pours from the Floor, Part 1 of a 2-part season finale.
Do you know what's crazy about a 2-part finale?
You got to come back for the second part? It ain't over till it's over?
Yeah, I was trying to
Diamonds Are Forever?
I couldn't think. I was just trying to figure out a reason to go.
It's going to be really fun to go back.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun for me to go back and listen to that because your audio cut out in the Zoom call.
Boy.
Also, I wanted to say this too. I noticed that our YouTube numbers have been kind of weird recently, the views, and I think that happened when I switched over the editing style for the YouTube version of the podcast. So I'm kind of I'm sorry that was how it was for a little while. I'm kind of switching back now to the way that it was before, but still maintaining a little bit of the editing that I was doing prior. It's just not going to be as jumpy, I suppose, as it was before, but a little spooky. little spooky.
A little spooky. He's a little spooky boy over there. So stinky spooky.
All right. Now, we normally start an episode out with, not Pours from the Floor, Flying Blind. How many times have I done that, man?
Pours from the Floor on Patreon.com.
This week we're doing Sips and Snacks.
Oh, yes, we are.
Where we pair a thing.
We do.
And Eric has so graciously blessed me with one of my favorite candy bars.
Yes.
Which, fun fact, was actually handed out to people during the Great Depression as a meal alternative.
It is like
The more you know.
It is like a protein bar in a real candy bar form. This is the payday bar, and I've mentioned this before. But this, if you are listening to this and it's like 2 days after Halloween, and your kid's got a bunch of candy and they got a payday, I think Perry considers it too, one of the best pairings we've ever done. This is the payday bar with the old Granddad 114.
Mm-hmm.
This is a magical pairing. This is a savory and a sweet and a funky thing that just, I mean, they were made for each other. Trust me.
This is one of those things, too. Oh, you're just drinking from the bottle. Fantastic.
One drink left.
Oh, there you go.
I have to sit back after I have it.
You could have told me. I have my own bottle of OGD 114.
I got another bottle. This is just one that was in the basement.
I got you.
It's so hard. I got to keep a backup with these.
Dude, I know. I know. For a little while, I was jumping back and forth between that, Rare Breed, and there was another one too. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but they just never lasted long.
Man, there's just something about the salty nuts on the payday.
Yeah.
And like that kind of funky beam that you get in this that turns this thing into just like, I don't even know. How do you describe this? I say something different every time, I think, but
I describe this as a salted caramel, peanut butter, and chocolate cake.
Yes.
With actual, like, peanuts decorated on the cake itself.
Agreed. Yeah, the chocolate cake part. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's good.
Little bit of marzipan, too.
A little bit.
Dude, no, this is such a good pair. I was when I saw that there was a payday in this little box, I was like, I think I know what's happening here.
Oh, yeah.
I think I know what I'm coming into here.
It's
for this
the
next
payoff.
episode.
It's the money shot.
Eric, what have you been drinking recently?
Oh, what have I been drinking? Let's see. Well, just got back from Disney. Had a ton of cocktails, but I got to have my favorite, the smoked turkey, the Turkey 101 cocktail that they have at some of the Disney restaurants. I had I took in my little travel case thing. I took the Oak and Thieves 1792 and the Hogback thing, which were both really good. And then I took some Curly, had a EJ Curly single barrel pour. And then I took some Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof. Sipped on those at the end of each night. Had a little Turkey 101 that I took with me on my secret tips and bits that, I've talked about before. When you go to Magic Kingdom and you don't have access to adult beverages, you take a little apple juice in with you in your bag and you're good to go. And then I also had one of my other favorite cocktails at Epcot in the tequila bar, which it's called a corn old fashioned. And I've talked about this before, but it's basically like tequila, some corn, I think. Hold on, I'll tell you. I always take a picture of it so I can talk about it. It is Abasolo corn whiskey. I don't know if that's right. Casa Noble Reposada Tequila, Lost Irish Whiskey, Nixta Elate Liqueur, and then the kicker on this one is Wilderness Trail Rye Whiskey and Umami Bitters. And they make that in the tequila bar, and it's called a corn old fashioned. So if you ever go to Epcot, definitely get that. It is so good, and I drink it, and then I get on 3 Caballeros, and I have the greatest day ever.
My favorite of all that was your picture of April, and the caption was just "Tequila Mama."
Oh yeah, that was marked. April was tequila'd out there. So.
I believe that.
That's what I've had.
So last night, I got to go visit our dear friends Chad and Sarah at the tail end of their meetup and hang out with some of our good friends. The Brennickeys are there. Don Nishida was there.
Oh,
too.
I saw Don. Before I went to Disney.
You did see Don.
It was fun.
Tony Bag of Donuts.
Oh, Tony
was present. A man that I have now met 3 times, and each time that I have met him, it's been like the first time because I'm an idiot and I can never remember the fact that I've met him. Drew Bolin, Woo Drew himself, which is so. Drew, I'm so sorry, man.
Back for the very first time,
and we were literally standing right there, and like we'd been carrying on the whole night. And I was like, man, I've just realized I didn't actually, introduce myself to you. And he was like, I know, it's true. We've done this 3 times already. I was like, I'm so sorry, dude.
Third time's a charm, baby.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I mean, in my defense, every single time that's happened, whiskey has been involved.
And lots of people, probably.
Yeah. But now, I've got it.
Got it.
Sorry, Drew. But there were some pours.
Tell us.
There were some pours.
Tell me.
I got to bring one of them home for you as well. I'll tell you about that when I see you on Friday. I'm going to make you wait a little bit.
Freaking hedging me.
It's edging, but you keep thinking that.
Yeah.
But the selection included, but was not limited to, Chad and Sarah's foolproof pick that I love so much. Oh my goodness, the pictures on my phone just flew far, far away. A Lucky 7 pick, which I had never had anything of before, but it's 14-year-old Barton Juice. It was 119.1 proof. It was a pick from Neat, the Bourbon Bar.
Okay.
I don't particularly know where that is. Tried the new Old Ezra 7-year rye whiskey.
Oh, how's that?
Barrel proof. Good, but not particularly memorable.
Okay.
I would say. But
MVP?
Still. I would have actually, I don't know. It's 95.5. So maybe.
Maybe.
But There was also a wild turkey tradition that Don brought, which real nice.
Real nice.
Gosh, I can't even remember everything. The Eve's Blind Kings County pick that she did, which was fabulous. Couple other turkey bottles, decades, and the 12-year export. And yeah. Oh, I had Malort too.
Oh, what was that?
Real bad. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. I'd never had it before.
I don't think I've had it yet. I thought, did somebody bring it to our meetup?
No, somebody brought the Jepson's bourbon
to
it that they sourced from MGP.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we had not actually had Malort before.
Gotcha.
And I think this is what most people say about it, but there's just nothing redeeming about it at all. It's a bad flavor. It lingers for way too long. I had to have like a bag of Skinny Pop popcorn and like a full thing of water before it was out of my mouth, and some barrel proof bourbon to singe it off of my taste buds. But I mean, overall, it was pretty atrocious. So
Nice.
happy to have ripped that Band-Aid off for the first time.
Happy to mark that one off the list.
Eric, I got something I'm going to throw at you right now, too.
All right.
Because, well, it's already... Sorry.
Do I have it?
You do. It's the sample. Two of the three samples that I gave over to you.
Okay.
So there's the one that's got a D on top.
The D.
That's going to be a blind sample.
Okay.
And there's one... Read me off the labels, because I can't remember what I put the
You
bottle
did
of them in.
floor pour and a sips and snacks.
Floor pour is the one that you're going with, paired with the blind.
Okay.
The D is the blind. The floor pour is 2XO.
Oh. Everybody's like, I'm getting my 2XO, and I'm like, I'm in Florida.
Yeah, so I picked up my bottle on Thursday. I also picked up some for a bunch of people, and I walked into the store. There were 5 behind the counter. And I said to the lady at the register, can I get all 5 of the 2XOs? And you could just see the color like drain from her face. She was older too, and so she realized that she was going to have to carry all 5 of these bottles over to the counter. I got my ID out, and she was like, honey, if you are paying this much money, I'm pretty sure you're over 21.
Oh, this is our party drink.
Yeah, this is our hooch, man.
Oh, well, hopefully. I think that Ernie's was going to have one for me, so I could get one myself. All right. So floor pour is 2XO.
2XO.
And the blind
Is the one with no label on it, but it's got
It
a
has a
D on the
D.
top of the cap.
the D. Okay. All right. I poured about half of these samples.
Okay.
All right. Tell me what to do. What am I doing?
Well, let's go blind first,
Okay.
and then we'll go for the 2XO.
That smells good.
Mm-hmm.
That's real nice.
Back's itchy.
That smells like something a little older.
Somehow it does. But this bottle I have had for the past couple of years, and I did not crack it until the other day.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It smells like older. It's kind of Turkish, but it's got like it's like older cherry pie. Like not old, like bad, like barrel Rickhouse cherry pie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm eating cherry pie in a Rickhouse. That's what it smells like.
Now, I do think that the palate goes a little bit thin. Like, I think that you anticipate something a lot more viscous based on the nose.
Yeah,
But
I get a lot of cherry up front, not a whole lot of finish, and it is kind of thin.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
No, not at all. I mean, even just on the nose alone, it's pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with it. So,
almost like a cherry coffee, like your maybe a little cherry pie and coffee on the palate. Mm-hmm. Not a whole lot of finish though.
No.
So,
and on to the 2XO.
Let me reset here.
Now, I did my review of the 2XO this past Thursday on a live stream. I gave it a 13 out of 20.
Okay.
That was on an initial crack, not having let it sit for any particular time. Coming back to it, and I came back to it 24 hours after I opened it. It had improved significantly, and it was
like
already
coffee cake.
It was already very good, but it had definitely needed that little bit of oxidation. Oxidation? I don't know. Tell me in the comments. Thank you.
Starbucks coffee cake on the nose. Very dark.
I get a little bit of red wine in there, too.
Oh, yeah, I can see it being dark. It's definitely something dark.
Yeah.
Dark and thick. It smells thick, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure.
All right.
Oh, buddy.
That tastes like Hershey chocolate. And I know this is going to be weird, but Hershey chocolate and Ritz crackers.
Yeah. I can totally see that.
Kind of crackery, chocolatey thing going on. It's like those Dawn sent us some. Was it Dawn that sent us the prepackaged chocolate? And
the Ritz covered in chocolate, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if I still have any of those.
It's savory and sweet. I don't think the finish doesn't last a long time, but it hangs out a little bit. I get a really savory. The saltiness of the crackers is in the finish. And the sweetness of the chocolate is right up front. And the mid palate is definitely bringing it all together. It's like this kind of weedy, chocolatey. I mean, I even get, what is that? There's a little bit of fruit in there. It's just, I don't know what kind of fruit. It's just kind of like a sweet, almost like a jam or something like that. Just some kind of like fruit medley, like a something. But Ritz crackers and chocolate. Man, this is good. I definitely, whatever score I give it, it's definitely a buy. So. Mm-hmm. That is good. The blonde.
Going back to the first one too. I mean, it is also good. It's just not nearly as good.
Yeah, it's just that thin. It's just not. It's not complex enough to like hold up for a little while and give you some different flavors. It's kind of like, you get your flavors and it's gone.
Yeah, for sure. Any idea what the first one might be?
Let's see. You've had this, but you just opened it.
I just opened it. I doubt that you even knew that I had this bottle because it had just been tucked away in my cabinet for so long.
Is this a turkey product?
It is not a turkey product.
Okay. When I go back to it, it smells younger than what I thought. What is this? Is it a beam?
It's not beam.
It's weird. I don't know.
It's
Is
Woodford double oaked.
Oh. That's why it's so thin. It's 90 proof.
Yeah. 90.4, but who's counting?
It's better than
It's better than regular Woodford.
It's better than the one I had the other day.
And it's a heck of a lot better than I remember it being.
So how old is this? Not old like Woodford old. Like how long have you had that? When did you get it?
Probably a couple of years at this point. I would say at least 3.
I feel like the stuff, maybe it was just me still being like adventurous,
Sure.
up and coming in my bourbon journey. But, I feel like I have these thoughts of Woodford being so much better than it is now. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how much of that is just me or if it's actually like maybe some of the stuff 4 or 5 years ago was better than it is now. I don't know. But I'm not mad at this. If somebody said, you want some Woodford? And I said, is it double oaked? And they said, yeah. And it was like this. I would take that.
Yeah.
So that's your comparison because we got 2 double oaked products.
A double oaked. Yeah. So I also had on my live stream last week, I had said that I was going to try to find out because on the bottle, Dixon says that he uses his specific double barreling process.
His process. For creating this. And some places use like a flash toast or a flash char, right. And or they only use the toast or they only use like a level 1 char or whatever. So this is my Bourbon Podcast exclusive. Dixon said that in his double barreling process, liquid comes out of one barrel and goes into another one. It's the most Dixon answer I've ever heard.
Yeah, but then the next morning he told me what the exact thing was.
Well, I remember he talked about it a little bit before, and he talked about messing around with the cubes, like different barrel cubes and like barrel flavors and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he did that for a group that was at the 10-bit meetup too. They had a tasting with him beforehand. But he said that he uses new charred oak, and he'll use number 3 and number 4 char levels in his barrels for the double barrels. So I mean, he's not just like throwing something together. I mean, he's being meticulous about it, and he's putting time and he's putting effort into the creation of this new whiskey. And not that he didn't with Kentucky Owl either. It's just that now he's got to build his own thing from the ground up. The Phoenix blend, it's risen from the ashes.
And part of me, like this is just me being selfish, but part of me wanted to be like, oh, I hope this is Kentucky Owl all over again. But
it's not.
But it's not.
It's not.
After taste, and I know that he doesn't. That's not what he's going for. He's going for 2XO. He's going for this double-barreled thing that he created on his own.
Yeah.
So when I got that thought out of my head, I'm like, man, this is a nice pour that has just enough stuff to sit around and have a conversation about.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the first blend. It's the first iteration of this product. We're going to see more of it soon. We already know that the Innkeeper's blend is going to be coming before too long as well. So things are happening.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I'd crush that too. But I would crush it and then be mad because I crushed it, because I would want to have it more. How much is this? $80?
$85 is what I paid for
85.
it. 90
Okay.
$90.09 after tax.
I am super happy with that price.
Yeah. I'm not upset with it at all.
I think-
and that being said, though, I don't know what the age of everything is that actually goes into this.
Right.
But at first glance, I like a lot, and I'm looking forward to what's next.
Yeah,
And I will say too, he said that this next product from him was not going to be $300.
right.
And he delivered on that.
He did.
And I know that 90 is still a lot. However, 90 to 100 is a lot of what we're paying anymore for these new
90
blended
to 100
bourbons.
is the new 50.
It's not
basically.
uncommon now. I think that we do have to adjust our we have to move the field goal a little bit. And I know that sucks. I know that, as consumers, excuse me, as bourbon lovers, like, getting a little choked up.
Okay. You okay?
Okay, I'm just really passionate about this, man. I'm really passionate about market suggested retail prices. It's just anyway. No, I know that we should try to push for something that we are able to afford, or just more affordable in general. But the thing is, this is the way that the market is right now, and maybe when inflation levels out, it'll be a little better. The economy. Anyway.
Can I give this a score?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Let's see. You
I'm
gave
curious.
it a 13, right?
I gave it a 13 out of 20.
Nose, I'm going 3.5. Palate, I'm going a 4 because freaking Ritz crackers and chocolate is amazing. Finish, I wish the finish was a little longer. I'm going to go a 3. Price, I'm giving this a 4 on the price because I think Dixon could have easily charged a lot more for this.
Sure.
Or set that, and people would have paid for it, but he didn't. And I think, like you said, $90 is the new what we normally would used to be $50 or something like that. So, 14.5.
I don't see us as being too far off from each other.
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
I think I scored the finish a little bit lower than you did. I think the way that everything's lining up, I think I gave the price lower. I know I had to have given the price lower than that, but I gave the palate a 4.
Yeah.
It is a very drinkable, very approachable bourbon, and one that I can easily see myself going back for multiple pours of. I have no problem with it.
Have we read anything or know the bottle count? Like, is this going to be easier to get than... It should at least be easier to get than those Kentucky Owl batches, right?
Yeah, even just based on proof.
Yeah. What is the proof?
104.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang. Well, thanks for sharing that. That made me realize I want to get my own.
Yeah, dude. It actually looks like, and this is just according to Kentucky.com, the Herald Leader website, that the MSRP is $100. I don't buy that. I think it's got to be, because I got it at Kroger for $85.
Yeah.
Just make sure there's no.
Yeah, I like that.
No extra info that I kind of missed out on. Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't see anything immediately. I did get suggested an article about Buffalo Trace, but we can talk about that later. Yeah. I knew you were going to like it. I was just curious at what degree it was going to be.
I'm not going to sit here and say everything's perfect about it, because it's definitely I mean, 14.5. It's got a little room to go, but for everything that's going on with it, I think it's a great score. I think it's a great drinker. I think it's good.
Well, speaking of Buffalo Trace, too, we got the news this week that the antique collection is seeing the return of George T. Stagg. And we got all the proofage and age and everything, and I'll just run over that real quick, and then another little update on the antique collection as far as Timbips related. Stagg is distilled in spring of 2007, so we're looking at a 15-year-old bourbon, 138.7 proof, highest it's been, I think, in the past, 6 years. 6 or 7, something like that. William LaRue Weller, spring of 2010, 12 years old, 124.7 proof. Thomas H. Handy, spring of 2016, 130.9 proof. Eagle Rare 17, spring of 2005, 101 proof, and Sazerac 18, spring 2003 and 2004, 90 proof. Now, you may notice a lack of enthusiasm in my voice about this year's antique collection, and that is not without reason, I would say. And a lot of that is because we, unfortunately, are not going to be getting samples of it this year. We were not notified beforehand, but they changed their system of first come, first serve on samples to they decide who the samples go to. Super, super, super bummed about that. Even more bummed about the fact that this now they're shifting to a mainstream media outlet method of distribution for these samples, which I think essentially kind of translates to it's not always going to be bourbon people. Look, I have danced around, I would say, my opinion of Buffalo Trace, especially over the past few years. But what I've not really said on the podcast is that their desire to make a profit over the past few years, I think, is much more apparent than their desire to support or show appreciation to those that have supported them in the past. So, yeah, of course, we're still going to talk about Buffalo Trace on the podcast, but if you needed a reason or something in your ear to say, hey, things are not what they used to be with Buffalo Trace, I think that this is a good indication. And I don't mean to whine, I don't mean to complain, I don't mean to sound like my favorite toy got taken away, but this was consistently an episode that you, the listener, loved. It was an episode that we, the creators, loved to record and make and provide for you all, and we've now lost that. So I'm probably showing my hand a little bit more than I need to be on this, but it's such a weird, oh my gosh, excuse me, a weird dynamic shift from what it was before. And especially to get our knees kicked out on the year that Stagg returns as well. I was just, I don't know. I don't fully blame Buffalo Trace. I think a lot of it comes from Sazerac as well. But at the same time, they're two sides to the same coin.
Yeah.
So,
well, maybe we need to make a 10-bit antique collection. Our own.
I don't even know. It would be crazy. It would be so wild and all over the place, and I'm so here for it. I think we should do it. Yeah. I think we should. Yeah. And you know what? We'll send out samples to somebody, too. Every year. Here's what we'll do. Every year from here on out, because now we don't get the antique collection samples. We will send out the This Is My Bourbon podcast old group of bottles sample kit to one lucky listener.
One lucky listener.
Probably on the Patreon, but, so every October moving forward. And you got to stay tuned.
Fart head collection.
There you go.
The old stinky boys. Stinky.
But anyway, just a real kick to the nards.
It is.
I would say.
I'll just say that as a former listener who got to fulfill his dream of reviewing the antique collection last year, it was always
you got to review 4/5 of the antique collection. You got to review 80% of the antique collection.
But what I'm saying is, like you said, it's an episode. If you've been listening for a long time, you're like, because it's 3 years in a row, 3 or 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what are they going to say about the antique collection? Because I said this in the pregame chats. I said it felt more like a review from just the common normal drinker who lucked up into some antique collection. You know what I mean? We were just sitting there. We were hyped and excited just because we got to try this together, and we gave it just an honest, cracking open some antique collection. And it sucks. You don't get to do that, and you don't get to hear that. Because like you said, only certain people will get to now, and who knows, how much, they'll be saying it to the truth, or if they'll be just saying it to, do whatever. So we're going to get through this.
I'm not. Yeah, this was the final thing I needed to do to get over it. Yeah, it's still gonna sting. Yeah, I'm still gonna have that feeling of it's like watching your ex date somebody new. It's always gonna kind of be in the back of your head.
That could have been me right now.
but we'll get over it. It's not gonna plague me for forever. Right. And strength in numbers, I guess. Now you guys, the listeners, are aware of the situation as well. So sorry we're not mainstream media enough to review
the 10-bit review of
to BTAC. Review bourbon samples on a bourbon podcast. But hey, thank God Joe Rogan's probably going to get some.
The only samples that Buffalo Trace ever would send out, because they don't send out anything else.
Nope, nothing else. The only ones, and they've now taken that from. Anyway, we've also got a couple more shakeups in the bourbon industry. Jane Bowie and Denny Potter have announced why they actually left Maker's Mark, and it's to open a new distillery. It's going to be in Washington County, Kentucky, and will focus on producing whiskey, specifically bourbon.
Okay.
Thank God, I guess. But
they're we're going to open and we're going to make vodka in Kentucky.
Everybody get ready. It's gin time. But yeah, it's really exciting. It was nice to finally kind of get an update on what they were doing. We were speculating that, maybe they were going to wind up being the new distillers over at Green River. That didn't turn that way, but the master distiller at Widow Jane, Lisa Wicker, actually left or will leave that company in November, and she's going to be coming back to Kentucky full time. So
I've seen tons of little conspiracy. She's going to be Maker's Marking. But I went to the source. I went to Peter's Pete.
Oh, Pete. Pete said, I'm sorry, buddy.
Pete said, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't say nothing. I signed one of those NDAs.
First time I had to actually
Non-dancing association.
I actually had to tell him the reason he says NDA now, but when I first talked to Pete, he was calling it an INDA.
INDA?
Yeah,
that sounds like something Pete would do.
Yeah, and so I had to explain to him what it was, and
I did not, Perry. Shut up. Please.
Dude, I'm just spitting facts over here. All right, nothing but the truth. 10-bit for truth 2022.
There we go.
I know that everybody says that she's probably going to Maker's Mark. I would be unsurprised if she actually was going to Green River.
Ooh, I like that. I like that take.
I mean, they're still without a master distiller.
You know where she needs to go. Castle and Key. Go to the east.
Oh, well. Since we're just putting distilleries on blast today.
You're getting all the blast. It's spooky time. It's the end of spooky time. We're just going all out.
Okay. I am probably putting a knife in my back by asking this question. But you, the listener, the viewer, whatever.
The watcher.
How much of that do you want from us? Do you want us to just be straight up like... Because, I mean, we got some takes. We got some opinions.
To burn bridges? Do you want to see us go down in flames?
Do you want to see me on the main feed talk about the thing that...
Do you want to see...
About me getting threatened by a whiskey producer?
Do you want to see memes and cuts and clips from other people using our stuff to put on?
I don't want to be that. Now that I've said it out loud, I'm like, I take that right back. We're not doing any of that crap. We wake up and we're just on all the local news and stuff. Like, local podcast says this about Buffalo Trace. But the thing is, like, what does that matter to the people who are going to be diehard Buffalo Trace supporters? Nothing.
Oh, nothing.
Like,
nothing at all.
They couldn't care less that we got slighted antique collection samples.
No.
They couldn't care less. So, I mean, at the end of it all,
they could at least send us another coaster for a...
Dude, they could have sent us one of all of them. Now I've just got this random stag coaster.
They could have sent us the Thomas Handy coaster. Jeez. They could have sent one of them little baby Blantons. Just said, sorry. Sorry we couldn't. Here's a baby Blanton's. Anyway, Old Forester's got a new master taster and brand ambassador. It's Melissa Rift, who actually left Bullet a couple months ago. She was in charge of their barrel program, and now she is essentially taking over from the role that Jackie Zykan was in. Nice. Big change, but I'll be honest with you, Melissa has the palate and she has the passion and know-how for the brand. Yeah. And I think she's going to do great things with it. I'm very excited to see her move forward. With this, I'll be honest with you, though. What I'm not excited to see is more hate speech and bigotry towards somebody in the bourbon industry, bourbon community, who may not think or act or be a part of the same general collective that some of us are, because she is the first openly gay ambassador for Brown-Forman. You know? Brown-Forman hired the best person for the job. They didn't hire a token candidate. Right. So, I mean, if that's what you think, then you probably need to take a good hard look at the opinions that you have about this. It's ridiculous to say that about Melissa, somebody who I know personally as having a great track record and a great palate, and is definitely the best person for this job. 100% the best person for this job. Yeah. So, if you want to hear more about our thoughts on that, you can head to last week's pregame chats, because we did we did a little bit, but not on the main episode. It's a long pregame chats that was almost 45 minutes. Yeah. We'll talk about a few releases. Kentucky Peerless Absinthe Barrel Finished. I am so excited for this. It's a finished rye, non-age stated. It looks like it's going to be 110.7 proof. Don't know the price on it yet, but it should be out at the Peerless Distillery right now. Okay.
Very excited for that. Michter's 20-year-old 2022 release looks to be 114.2 proof, $1,200 bottle. Out next month. Hey, man, I mean, we could split it and just have it be our Christmas present to each other.
Okay. We both have kids, wives to buy, and we're like, yeah, let's just split a $1,200 bottle. It's only $600.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
We'll get a sample of that, right?
Yeah, sure we will. Sorry that when I brought you onto this podcast, I guaranteed you samples from big distilleries of exclusive pours that we're
That's
going.
in my contract.
It's in your contract. And look, man, if you decide like tomorrow, if you wake up and you're like, I can't do this anymore because we didn't get antique collection samples, you're free to leave. I totally understand.
Way. What if that's why Swan was like, I can't do this anymore. He had an inside scoop. He didn't tell you. He's like, I know. And like
almost 2 years ago, he knew.
Yeah. He's like, I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah. Blue Run Flight Series. It's a blend of straight bourbons, not age stated, and the ABV is going to vary, but it's going to be $120 a bottle. Oh, Lordy, here we go. Look, there's 6 different releases. Alpine Meadows, Parisian something, Seattle Downpour, Lahana Luau, Washington Apple Orchard, and Marrakesh Market. So
they go all out on releases.
They do. Evan Williams Square 6 High Rye. You've probably seen reviews of it by now. We weren't able to go to the press event for it. I had work that day. Straight rye, non-age stated, 95 proof, $90 a bottle. If it's anything like their bourbon, it's overpriced. The Square 6 bourbon is just not that good. Huh?
Squares. I hate the name.
Well, I mean, I don't mind the name because it's in reference to where the original Evan Williams distillery
Square
was.
6. It just sounds like a old nu metal band that didn't make it.
Yeah. Mash bill of 63% rye, 24% corn, and 13% malted barley, making it the highest rye whiskey Heaven Hill has ever produced. Okay, now I'm interested.
Okay, you got me.
New Riff Maltster T50 Crystal Malt, straight bourbon, 6 years old, 100 proof, $60 a bottle.
Crystal meth.
Yeah, next year's going to be the Crystal Meth release. Blended by...
The best meth Covington has to offer.
Blended by Walter White. And New Riff Airstuke malted rye, straight malted rye. 6-year-old, 50% or 100 proof, so it's bottled and bond, just like the last one. $60 a bottle. I think both of those are already out. I know that Ian was able to get one of each. So
I'm sure he just walked in the back door and grabbed some.
I was hoping that we were going to get samples of these, but I've not heard back about it yet. Who's to say anymore?
Who's to say?
I don't know. We did get samples of the new blackened Wes Henderson blend, though. So Rob actually might be on the show before too long.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll talk about that soon. Wyoming Whiskey 1872. It's a straight bourbon from Wyoming, 9 years old, 116 proof, $400 a bottle. Oh, my gosh. 150 bottles exclusive to California, Colorado, Georgia, New York, and Wyoming. It's a blend of 93% wheated and 7% high rye bourbons.
400.
Lord have mercy. Chicken Cock Chanticleer, finished bourbon from Kentucky, non-age stated, 112 proof, $500 a bottle, 6,500 bottles. The release was last week. 70% corn, 21 rye, 9% malted barley.
Chicken cocks.
Yeah. Old Bones 10-year reserve, straight rye from Indiana. 110 proof, $100 a bottle, out this month or October. So I guess by the time this comes out in a couple of days, will have been last month. Antique collection we've already talked about. Crap, goodness gracious, I gotta scroll through so many of these. It looks like the rest of it's just Scotch, except for Whistle Pig the Boss Hog, 9 Siren Song straight rye from Canada, non-age stated. 102.6 proof to 106.2 proof, $600 a bottle, limited availability out this month.
This is the high roller release.
Yeah, no kidding. Here's one that you can probably afford if you can find it. Bullet barrel strength, non-age stated, anywhere from 120 to 125 proof, $60 a bottle. Should be out now, though.
We already had that?
Well, it's the newest batch.
Oh, new batch.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's about it for the releases. Old Dominic's Tennessee whiskey is out. I think they might have their bourbon out now, too. But their Tennessee whiskey is 4 years old, 85 proof, and $35 a bottle. Not bad. Comes out in the day that this episode drops. 12,000 bottles only at the Old Dominic Distillery and at their website. So might have to snag a bottle of that.
For family.
Few TTB labels that we'll talk about. 15 stars, fine aged rye, 6 years old. 105 proof. A Clyde Mays cast strength reserve, 9-year-old, 113 proof. Nelson Brothers whiskey. What is this one actually? Blackbriar blend of straight bourbons finished in imperial stout casks. Don't mind that. 15 stars, 13-year timeless reserve, fine aged bourbon. 1,400 bottles it looks like, and 109 proof. And 15 stars, fine aged bourbon, platinum. A blend of straight bourbon whiskeys from America's First West. I don't know what that means.
West.
This marriage of fine aged bourbons, 18, 15, and 10 years old, bottled in Kentucky, distilled in Kentucky, Indiana, and Tennessee. Oh, that sounds familiar. Is crafted to honor distilling excellence in America's First West. Oh, okay. So it's I get what I understand that now. Get it. Here's the last one, but the most interesting one, I would say, out of all of these. Bardstown Bourbon Company's Bourbon Pursuit blended whiskey, 124 proof, in conjunction. Oh, I'm so happy about that. In conjunction with our buddies over at Bourbon Pursuit. Can't wait to find out what this is all about. But
I think I saw in some comments that it's Kentucky and Canada.
Oh, okay. Seems like Bardstown Bourbon Company might have quite a bit of,
I think,
Canadian whiskey that they're trying to get rid of. All right, you want to do a review?
Yeah, always.
I need to get myself out of this funk.
Funk.
I'm not usually in this headspace. Y'all know this if you listen to the show, but
Down, funk you up.
down, funk you up.
Spooky. What are we reviewing? I don't even know.
We're reviewing the Michter's 10-year rye. That's the other sample that you have.
Heck yeah.
It's this year's single barrel. 10 years old. That was sad.
And then there wasn't even a 10-year bourbon this year, right?
I don't think so.
Was this the only 10-year product they put out?
I think you might be right, but I could be. I could be wrong. I'm not exactly sure what the MSRP is on this, but we paid what, $165?
Yep.
So, I mean, it's not cheap.
I feel like it's usually $150 to $170.
Yeah,
or something like that.
I mean, I'm looking at the price from the 2020 release, and that one was $160. So. Now you. I'm gonna let you finish your song.
I'm sorry, I just was talking.
No, Now you had actually won this bottle at the Total Wine America, whatever it is, lottery.
It was the Sorry You're a Loser. We got some extra bottles. Do you want
that's
this?
right.
And I said sure.
And I actually wound up taking this to Chad and Sarah's meetup this past weekend as well, cracking it open because I figured it was appropriate to bring something special, and I came back with half a bottle.
That's a good sign.
Y'all some animals.
Y'all some animals.
I have had this once before. Aside from having had it last night, Chad let me try it on his on that stream that I was on, the Don't Test Me, Impress Me stream on its Bourbon Night. And also, he gave us a little sample to try it together.
You know what we got to put this to the test with?
Yeah, here's my problem with that.
You don't have any?
I finished my media sample, and I haven't gotten a bottle of it yet. And he's talking about the Pursuit United Rye. So
I'll have to sample
if I have time between now and when we're recording and when the episode comes out, which is essentially like 2 days from now, I will pick up a bottle and I will make sure to review it or compare the two. If I can, and if all the stars align and whatnot, I will put it in right here. And if not, you just saw me do a weird hand motion on the video version.
This Michter's.
Dude, it's spectacular. It's an incredible nose.
This already is a gold in nose in the make you say, category.
Nah. So the first, nobody cares about this, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because but the first song on the album that I put out in 2014 was called "Make Me Wanna Say," and our bass player at the time, every time that I was like, "All right, let's practice," "Make Me Wanna Say," he'd go. And I didn't know what that song was before
You're like, what the hell?
he brought it up to me. I was like, oh, I get it now. Make me say, na. We're just killing all kinds of 90s R&B.
I know. Everybody's like, I'm so glad this is gone.
Hey, look, if anything deserved to die, it was a song by R. Kelly. Okay.
It's true.
Okay, Mike.
We'll read his hot take out later.
I mean, I already read it out on the pre. We'll read it out again. Now, this smells like what you want a rye whiskey to smell like.
This smells what you want a rye whiskey to smell like, only it's not as Christmassy. It's like just getting to be fall. Like yeah. I'm not going to open this on Christmas morning because I've got more Christmassy ryes. This is the rye that you're like, fall is here. Your pumpkins are gone. It's rye whiskey time.
I mean, I'm definitely drinking this or I will have had this at the Halloween party. So,
what's the proof on these? 94?
This is 92.8, I believe.
Gosh.
92.8.
It's got the rye spice on it that makes it seem a little bit higher proof.
Yeah.
But there is, oh my gracious, there's this caramel, whatever, Werther's, but it's like pepper. It's like a Werther's original with like this like little pepper in it. And not like, ooh, I just put pepper on Werther's, but like this, it's got a little kick to it. This little, yeah. It's a caramel kick. Oh, and it's so good.
It's so good, man.
The finish is candy. Oh, man.
Boy. I'm having to really get my nose down into glasses tonight because everything smells the same to me right now. Not that it doesn't have a smell, it just all smells similar. Honestly, I think it's out here. Being out here in this garage more than anything. What you doing?
I was smelling of the Pursuit.
Yeah, I figured. What are you thinking?
Kind of like, just like I said, like the Pursuit is a more punchy, like gingerbread spice. Like, bam, gingerbread's in your house, kicked you in the face. Michter's is more like Grandpa just pulled out Werther's original and
I swear I
opened it
thought
up.
you were going to say Grandpa just farted.
Oh, no. He just pulled it out there, the Werther's original bag.
Yeah.
And you get all this caramel and spice.
So, if I remember correctly,
The Pursuit. It's still so good.
which one do you think? I mean, I am trying to base my rating off of your feeling towards this because we have very similar feelings towards The Pursuit.
The Pursuit is just all the notes just hit you hard, like in a good way. It's like bam, like this is rye, this is ginger, this is like peanut butter, this is a holiday. And the Michter's is more of like, hey, we're going to ease you into this.
That's
like,
fair. Yeah.
Like here's you a rye whiskey that lets you know that rye whiskey is good. You should have rye whiskey, but we're going to be gentle. The Pursuit is like I said, it's just like, bam, right in your face. You like rye whiskey? Here you go. And you just, everything's amplified. So, both are good. I'm still leaning towards The Pursuit because
I would too.
I really enjoy rye whiskey, so I love that punch in the face. I love that gingerbread note. But I'm not mad at all about us getting this Michter's. I think it drinks higher than 92 proof. I think it almost drinks a little older than 10 years old. And I think it's a very special pour.
Yeah.
It's just mute. I don't know if it's the proof or what, but it's just calmer. It's just muted for a rye whiskey. And a lot of times when I want to drink a rye whiskey, I want to drink something that's going to hit me with all that rye spice. But the good thing about the Michter's is you ain't getting too many 10-year-old ryes around here.
Yeah, but it is still $165 a bottle.
It is. It is.
That's my biggest issue with it.
I think there are plenty of ryes that are half the price or maybe just a little bit above that would beat this in a blind.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would. I'm just pulling this out of my butt, but Old Forester rye I would probably go for over this. Even still, I mean, the inclination is that, and this is from Freddy Minnick, the horror movie icon, that this is Brown Foreman. Their bourbon and their rye is Brown Foreman. Or I could be misquoting him. I could be wrong. So.
I will say, I love some Brown Foreman rye.
Yeah.
Out of everything I've had.
Yeah. So
it's so hard. Like if
it's right in line with it for sure.
If this was $75,
oh, I'd be all over it.
Fuck,
even if it were 100, I would be all over it.
Yeah. It's just a little bit overpriced.
110, 125. It's just once it crosses that $150 threshold.
Right.
That's when I start going, I don't know about this.
And it doesn't taste like $160 whiskey.
No.
It's so good on the nose. I love the nose. It's just calm. But the palate is just muted. It's just, me personally, I just want that kick of rye. I want to be karate kicked right in the nostrils. And then I want my tongue to be freaking just cut in half by a freaking fist of fury of rye. And this is just giving me a little pat. This is like a little angel. This is like a little angel just dancing on my taste bud. Just dancing around, making sure I'm having a good time.
Well, should we do nose palate finish and price?
I think we should.
I'm giving the nose a 3.5.
I'm giving the nose a 4. It's easily my favorite part of this whole thing. It's a great nose. for what it is, I can't deny the fact that this nose is great.
Palate for me, I think, is definitely slightly less. 3.
Mm-hmm.
Not the worst part of what's going on here, but enjoyable nonetheless.
I gave it a 3 too. I think it's just a good palate. Like, it's just kind of in the middle. Nothing crazy. The kind of just continues on with that caramel and little spice. So yeah, 3.
Yeah. I think the finish is easily the worst part of it, and it's not that it tastes bad or anything. It's just so short, and there's not a whole lot going on with it. 2 on the finish for me.
I gave it a 2.5. I mean,
you're being a little more generous than I am, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just goes, like, I kind of see it in my head as like a little hill, like a downward spiral. It's like,
I feel the same way.
It's like nose and then palate and then finish and then price. Like,
yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you though. I come around a little bit more on the price, I think, than you do, and part of it is because, I mean, this is a limited release.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is still a collectability to it, especially if you have spent the time and the money in past years to pick as many of these single barrels up as you can. But even still, it's not like blowing me away at that price. Yeah, I think I would still rather have the Pursuit. I know I would rather have the Pursuit United. I know I would rather have the Old Forester Rye. But even still, taking all that into consideration, for a collectible bottle, one that actually lives up, I think, to most of the hype with it, I give the price a 3.
I gave it a 2.5.
Yeah. I mean, we're still not too far off from each other.
Yeah, I mean, I think the price, I mean, it's not bad. I think the price is justifiable because it is like a pretty much 1 year a release or something like that, or twice a year, or whatever they do. I just think when you drink it, or at least when I drink it, it leans more around that $75 to $100 dollar mark, which I would be happy with. So, I mean, 2.5, I think it could be better, but I gave it a 12.
Yeah, I think that's what I came out to. Wait, there's no way that that's true. Hold on. No, yeah, I gave it a 12 as well. How did that happen?
Well, you went up on the
3.5.
You went up on the price, and I went lower.
3.5, 3. Oh wait, no, I was 11.5. Sorry,
11.5. Okay,
yeah.
So there you go.
Math hard. Math's no easy. Before we get into tips and bits, do you have any high proof hot takes this week? Put a leash on your kids at Disney.
Oh my gosh. High proof hot take.
Oh shoot! You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do our thing. I forgot to show.
No, that's Buffalo Traces. Whoa, that said the word Stinky. That said the Stinky Award. Michter's Rye 10-year. What does it get?
Michter's 10 Rye. You are getting. You're the best.
You're the best.
Look at that. You're the best, man.
You're the best.
That was something that we started last week. So if you missed out on that and why this is happening, go check out the 5-year anniversary episode. But yeah, Michter's 10-year Rye. Sorry, what were you talking about?
This Pursuit is good.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Still good. High proof hot take. Let's see. Disney. I just came back from Disney. Yes, Disney's expensive. We all know it's expensive. But in the end, Disney is not there to make sure every single person in the park has the most magical time in the world. So don't complain if you go to Disney and you have to wait in line a little longer, or the prices went up or something like that because you knew what you were getting into.
A lot of that is on you. That being said, though, who is their new CEO? Bob Chapek, I think is his name. Yeah, because he took over from Bob Iger. He has not done a great job of running Disney Studios or Disney LLC. and he was the one that, because it came out this week too, that he said that adults don't like watching
I saw that.
animated film. I mean, he's just
he's getting
he's a clown. So
yeah,
and it was his fault that the prices were raised. At Disney parks too. So,
but I just
that
hear
part of it is not our fault,
right?
But a lot of that, like, you anticipate everybody else to make that time magical and special for you. That's not how it works.
No.
I mean, part of it, yes, but for the most part, I mean, it's only as enjoyable as you're going to make it.
Right.
You know,
if you have to wait a little longer or something, you don't have to take it out on the workers. Like I saw it with
never
my own
take it
eyes.
out on another person.
I've heard it.
How dare somebody do that?
Yeah, Disney.
I'm on a hot streak today, man. I'll call you out. I'll tell you.
There's people. I mean, for no reason, just because they have to wait a little longer or something like that. Like people are just. I think when people who have never been, they think that it's just going to be this magical experience that's catered to them and everything's going to work out. You have to plan
just
your
doesn't
trip.
work like that.
You have to make sure you get reservations. You have to do this and that. You have to make it special yourself. It's not just going to automatically be special. Me and April have worked at making Disney trips special, and we still have trouble doing it sometimes. It's just a thing. It's just you got to make it special yourself. And that's just my hot take. You're not going to just book a trip to Disney and it just be the most magical time in the ever unless you make it that way. It's not anybody's fault but yourself if it's not a good experience most of the time. So that's my hot take. Plan your trip. Ask me. If you're listening right now, ask me. I will help you plan a full trip. I love planning trips to Disney. But don't get down there and not realize how things work and all that, and then get mad at the people that are just working. So don't be a dick when you go to Disney. There you go.
I needed something to either calm me down or get me fired up. So I poured some hazmat obtainium from Elixir.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any. Oh, God. I was like, the only hazmat thing I have right now.
Kings County?
Fuck. It's going to make me do it.
Should do it. I mean, you do have that apple brandy.
I would have to get a torch.
That's true.
To open that. I'll get a little bit of Kings County.
You know what's crazy, though, is that, and I have never seen this before on another hazmat label, they've got a little flammable sign on the side of the label there. How funny is that?
It's pretty badass, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I want that tattooed on, like,
your
my butt cheek.
Yeah. Flammable.
Yeah, anyway. I don't have any high-proof hot takes this week.
Do you want to read the ones that we got sent?
One of them's super long, and I feel like deserves its own conversation or episode or whatnot. But we did have one from our buddy Mike Green as well, which said, high-proof hot take, if R. Kelly didn't already kill Remix to Ignition, then Perry and Eric definitely did in episode 252.
Hey now, buddy. We take pride in our singing.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and read Michael's as well, because it's still bourbon related. High proof hot take from Michael Sullivan. Master distillers are a red herring, and we should stop fixating on them. Hear me out. Distilling is more science than art. While having a competent distilling team is essential to avoid wasting inputs or producing contaminated outputs, having a genius distiller is of questionable value. We should pay much more attention to whomever is curating the single barrel program at each distillery, and whoever has veto power on the blending team for matching barrels. And yet we hardly ever learn who these people are. And there's a corollary hot take here involving cooperages, which we all admit are responsible for 50 to 70% of the taste of a bourbon, and yet most of us, other than Brown-Forman fans, cannot name the cooperage behind our favorite expressions. Yeah, no, I do think that the master distiller is in a place now that their role gets far too inflated, or is there's too much weight put on what it is that they do. But
what if you're Eddie Russell?
See, I think in
he
instances,
does it all though, doesn't he?
And to be honest, like between people like Eddie and Harlan Wheatley, I think those are probably the two examples of master distillers that actually are more hands-on versus those that we just kind of associate with the brand as, you know, a figurehead or whatever. But anyway, Michael, I really like that hot take. That was a good one.
I think they're all just a big team, and if I say I like the whiskey, then that means I like all of you.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm about to chug some of this 26-year hazmat Canadian whiskey from
I haven't had
Obtainium.
this in so long. Kings County.
Oh, that mouthfeel is so nice.
150.8 proof. 8 years old.
Oh, that's so nice. Do we want to talk about? Well, first of all, have you gotten your notes yet from
Yes.
from whiskey?
I
Okay,
have
cool.
the Morgue Minute.
Good deal. Well, you know what we keep forgetting to do?
What?
Asking you if you have any 1 ounces of news.
Oh, 1 ounce of news. There is a new stuffed Reese cup.
There is.
It's coming out, and it's going to have Reese Puffs inside of it.
So weird.
Fucking Reese Puffs. I'm down for it. I will pair that as soon as I can find some.
I can't wait.
So that's your 1 ounce of news.
Also, we're working on getting our buddy Dadbod Snacks on the show before too long, as well. Let's talk about the homework 2 weeks in the making.
Yeah,
First,
you all
a double,
had plenty
a double
of time
feature.
to get caught up here.
A double feature for the end of season.
Ooh, we did a double.
I gave it. I'm gonna edit my own in.
Heck yes.
I'm gonna give it to myself. I've never done one before.
Yeah,
But
you had to. This is like
I had to.
this is like the sequel to our Spooky. So now I got 2 killers.
There we go. Yeah, so we did the double feature of The Strangers and The Strangers Pray at Night, the latter of which the doll-face killer actually was played by my sister-in-law, Emma Bellamy, my wife's sister. And we'll get to Pray at Night in a second, but let's talk about first the Liv Tyler vehicle, The Strangers. You were saying earlier that you felt differently about this movie than you did the first time that you watched it. What did you feel on second viewing?
Second viewing, I actually liked it a little better, only because I appreciated the sound and anticipation in this. Yeah. Because The Strangers Part 1 is a very low body count horror movie.
Well, truth be told, so is Pray at Night.
I think it has like double almost the body count.
But even still, I mean, it's not really that many people.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like, there's really, I'm not like, okay, so Strangers, you have 1 kill until the main end, supposedly.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There's just 1, and there's like 3 or 4 in the other one. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
Neither one of them are big. I'm just saying, as a person who enjoys a very like chase all the kids down, the token, the trope, and all this.
It's tense.
Yeah. The first time watching this, I think I enjoyed it because I kept thinking more was going to happen. I was like, oh, they're leading me on, and like nobody dies and stuff like that. This time around, I appreciated all the things that I didn't notice before. The sound and the, like I'd say, and like, getting focused on something and then you hear the knock or something like that. I think Strangers, the first Strangers, is a very scary movie for the PG-13 crowd. if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think this could easily be a PG-13 movie, and it's actually scare like 12 to 15-year-olds.
Well, that was how old Lucy was when she first saw it.
Okay.
I think she was in that age range. And then, of course, 10 years later.
Right.
Nah, more than that, her sister wound up
there was a big
sequel.
gap in between.
But yeah, I mean, this is further proof that, I don't really have that added layer of like, I never watched horror movies when I was younger, and so I don't have that association.
Right.
Because I mean, like, there are still jump scares. There are still things throughout. I mean, truly, both of these movies that just kind of make you uneasy. And like, as I think my reaction now is less like jumping out of my seat, and it's more like, here it comes, here we go. Like,
right.
it's the anticipation of it all. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think that overall, the original Strangers is a better movie. I don't think that that's anything that we have to like fight over or contend over, but I still enjoy watching the second one. I think it is still so tense. I think that there is a better. I think the gore is better too.
I got some thoughts. Yeah,
it's just a more. It's more energetic, I think, which lends itself probably more to a more modern horror movie going audience, but it is still like I don't know. I still think it's accessible. Yeah. I think that there are plot points that are weak.
It's not that accessible because it was hard for me to find it to rewatch it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I had to rent it.
I don't mind renting movies.
I don't mind getting stuff for free though, even though I'm paying because I'm paying for all the other stuff.
I mean, I know, but like, what's the difference between renting a movie like that and going to Blockbuster and picking that movie out?
There's no Blockbuster around. It's the experience of going in the movie store and going through the boxes and looking at the posters. I don't get that. I just say rent and it's over. Okay. Well. Rolling back a little bit to spoilers for Strangers, because I feel like we get it, we start talking about it and we forget to like say what the movie's actually about. But Strangers is about 3 masked killers that just terrorize people. What? Get out of here with that.
No, you're right. You're the best.
That's right. There we go. I don't know who Eric is. I'm the whiskey mute right now. I'm all hopped up on hazmat. But The Strangers is about a group of these 3 people that wear different masks. One is a man with the bag over his head. You got the pinup girl mask, and you got Dollface mask, and they terrorize these people. And you have no idea why they're terrorizing these people. You don't find out in the movie why they're terrorizing people. They just pick them
in either of them.
And then moving on to the second,
yeah. And there are lines in both of them that kind of indicate like what their motives are. And basically, without really kind of spoiling the moments, because I do think that those moments work so well, especially if you don't anticipate the like reveal coming. Essentially, it's because they're just psychopaths.
Yeah, they're just crazy.
they're just insane people.
Yeah,
but
2, I actually like 2 better.
Do you really?
Because you said it already. Because it is more like, it's like somebody took the same killers but said, we're going to turn you into we're going to turn this into an actual slasher movie. Yeah. And we're going to make you kind of like Jason or Michael Myers or whatever, like the later Michael Myers, not the first one.
Yeah.
Because you get more kills, you get whatever's happened in between the last family and this one, they've decided to just turn their kill their rage up to about 10. I mean, there's just craziness happening.
Yeah.
Like they're killing all these people. So I think 1 is good for the suspense. 2 is good because they just said, "Fuck it, we're going to make a slasher."
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah. And Emma's just stabbing people like all over the place. Like
I'm not saying that I don't enjoy 2 more than I do 1, because I and this goes back even to like the first time that I watched it. I have more fun and I enjoy more of Pray at Night than I do the original. And I think it is a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's just more happening. There's more going on.
Yeah.
With it.
And there's just something about a scary movie when you put teenagers in it that just makes it better. And that's the slasher. Yeah. That's the slasher trope too. The teenagers in there. The first one, you just have this older couple who are kind of in this weird spot in their life and all this stuff. This one, you throw some teenagers in there. You throw some more blood in there, and you got me. Is it a better movie, like you said? No. Like, the production and, like, I think the suspense and the sound and everything in The First Strangers is much better. It's a movie that a wider audience would be able to watch. Pray at Night is one that, like, the guy who likes slasher movies and, like, Jason is going to like. As opposed to people who are like, I don't like slasher movies. Like, they're the same thing, all this and that. So I think that's the difference. Maybe I like it a little more because of that. I do appreciate the first one for being more of a well-rounded movie.
So there are 2 scenes in Pray at Night that I think kind of help elevate my enjoyment of it, and maybe kind of make me feel like it would be the one that I would prefer to watch more over the first one. And the first one is when Dollface is chasing around the young girl, right through the trailer park and everything. That is so just creepy. I mean, just so ominous. And Emma does such a good job of just being that slow moving, but intimidating.
They got transport powers in the second one. Like they got slasher transport powers in the second one.
Yeah, for sure. And then the other one is the pool scene.
Oh yeah,
where Man in the Mask is trying to kill Lewis Pullman as he's wading through the water, and that scene is so beautifully shot and so incredibly well acted, and just a fun moment in a horror movie. I don't mean fun.
What's the song they got playing? What?
I Think We're Alone Now.
Yeah, I think we're alone.
Yeah. No, and I think that, they probably leaned a little bit too much into like the 80s nostalgia of it by playing all the 80s soundtrack and everything. But I still just, I don't know, like even on first watching, because I had, again, never seen the first one until about like 2 or 3 weeks before Pray at Night came out. And I watched it, and so I mean I was really fresh going into the second one, and I still felt like the second one was better at that point. Yeah, too. Like I enjoyed watching the second one more, but I mean overall it's paired together. I do think that there is a very stark difference between how they were made, the fact that it's not the same team, it's not the same crew, the actors are different, but at the same time, I mean, you can't kill off everybody in the first one and expect them to come back in the second one.
Yeah, and the second, and the first and the second, like, have no, other than the killers, there's no thread that connects them. Yeah, there's nothing. You don't have to. You have never. It never tells you why. Basically, spoiler alert, at the end of the second one, Emma just says, or Dollface just says, "Why not?" Is that what she says? Why not? They're like, "Why?"
I didn't want to spoil that, but yeah,
I said spoiler. They cannot listen.
Well, true, but right before Bailey kills her, Bailey's the name of the actor. I can't remember her name in the movie.
Did she kill her?
Well, but maybe, but she's got her on the ground and her mouth's all bloody and everything. And Bailey's got a gun and she's like, "Why are you doing this?" And Emma looks up at her and mouth is just covered in blood. And she goes, she's like, "Why not?" And Bailey just shoots her. It was like, that's the end of it. And like, I mean, like that moment doesn't exactly work 100% for me. You know, like the cause and effect doesn't really get shown as much as I would like for it to.
This would be a good time for them to do a prequel that showed how they became who they are. Yeah, unless everybody just wants them to just be the killers with no motive, and that's just what happens. What they should do, they should either do the prequel and show what happened, or they should make another one and just go full-blown different genre. We've had like the suspenseful horror movie, we've had the slasher horror movie, and now we're just fucking going to get supernatural.
Supernatural would be amazing.
Just craziness.
Yeah, that'd be so fun. Oh, man. I'll give a little bit of behind-the-scenes information on it, just coming from knowing Emma as well. Everything was shot in northern Kentucky, right in the Covington area. And everything that you see at night was shot at night. She was basically working your shift, shooting this movie, for a long time. I mean, it was over the course of like a spring and summer in 2016, 2017. So it was a process for her as well. I'm like 90% sure she never actually, I mean, aside from like kind of taking a picture and saying hey to her, never really got to meet Christina Hendricks. That was a pretty,
it's crazy how
pretty incongruous relationship.
Like
yeah, for sure. She does not appear on any of the posters either. That was a stand-in model for her on all of the Pray at Night posters. I think that's it. That's her top billed gig on IMDb as well. But she also fun fact, she hates talking about this movie.
I figured
because she talked it to death when it first came out. She had to see it so many times. The weekend that it came out, they had a private series of screenings at the movie theater over by you all at Fayette Mall, where she met people and signed posters, and she came out before the movie started and gave a little spiel and everything. And it was a really, really cool time to see all that. But anyway, I don't know. It's cool to be tangentially related to a pretty well-known movie. Okay, so the only other thing that I will say, this is not Emma's only horror starring role.
Oh yeah, plug it.
There is a movie, a short film that is either out to the public around this time or is just screening to movie festivals, horror movie festivals, called Mamu. And it was a monster movie, a monster short film that was filmed actually in my house over July 4th weekend last year, 2021. It is receiving some wonderful praise.
Yeah, Mamu's right there behind you. Oh. Did you check the baby monitor?
I don't have it.
Oh. Well.
But Eric is like the only other person that I've shared it with too, but I had to. It's so much fun. And I did all of the like sound design on it. Was there for every second of footage that was shot.
That's pretty cool.
There's also an alternate opening that was not seen in the final cut that I was a part of. Oh. So I could start my own IMDb page and just have it say uncredited and unseen role in Mamu short film. But yeah, it's Awesome, man. Anyway, what's the Morgue Minute?
The Morgue Minute, rounding out spooky season. Our very own mortician, Mike Whiskey Morgue from Canada, who I could not find in the Canadian Pavilion this past weekend. Whiskey Morgue himself on Instagram says, The Strangers, Part 1 is one of my favorite movies. No motive or reason, just a home invasion nightmare. It is invasive and creepy how they toy with the couple, entering and leaving the house as they please. The kitchen scene where she is hacking a dart and the man in the mask is just standing in the background still gives me goosebumps. I didn't think Prey Night was going to live up to the first, but ended up really enjoying that one too. The car scene with the father was one of my favorites of all time.
It's a great scene, man.
So many memorable scenes. The car scene. See my screenshot about that. Hold on, I'll show you that. He actually had a conversation with Damien Maffei.
Yeah.
He played the man in the mask. The pool scene is epic. The lighting, soundtrack all play into it to make it fun, but still scary, just like Perry said.
I could be a film critic. I know what I'm talking about.
Damien told Mike that the scene that they were just talking about, the one with the car, that scene was pretty much my whole reason for doing the movie. So,
wow.
Yeah. So there you go. Whiskey Morgue on Instagram.
We should try to get Damien on the podcast because I'm pretty sure he's a bourbon guy.
Yeah.
Or at least tangentially. Why can't I say that word tonight?
I don't even know what that
must
means.
be the hazmat in relation to, or like in it doesn't matter. But yeah, it'd be fun to have him on. Talk about that. So that was spooky season. It was a fun spooky season. I watched a bunch of movies I had never seen before this year.
Good.
And I'm going to continue to do that as much as I can, as much as like the spirit of everything allows me to.
Yeah.
Because it does seem like November 1st. It's like, maybe I'll just go back to watching my normal stuff.
Thanksgiving.
There we go.
Killer turkey.
Yeah. Maybe I can watch the Christmas horror movies too.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
No, not. We just watched that.
Jack Frost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll start tips and bits off by saying, and I will keep it bourbon related actually. It's been a mini moon since this has happened, but I think it fits with the time of year and it fits with what people are kind of trying to get into. But if you yes,
okay,
kill yourself a turkey and pour bourbon down its gullet.
Yeah.
If you have never tried just apple cider and bourbon, you are missing out severely. And also, if you can find apple cider donuts.
Oh, yes, baby. Now you're talking my language.
Pair the heck out of that.
Oh, yeah.
Eat one while you're drinking one.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's an easy tips and bits.
Easy.
I don't really have a whole lot this week. It's been an exhausting, stressful week for me.
I'm just going to agree with you. Apple cider donuts to start the November season.
Heck yeah.
Pair them up. Watch some family movies, I guess.
Yeah, go watch Christmas with the Cranks. Let me make sure. I don't think I have anything.
I got some stuff. I'm gonna.
Okay, go for it.
No. I'm not ready for it yet. I gotta finish some stuff up, and then I'll talk about it next week.
Yeah. I mean, we have 2 Star Wars shows that we haven't talked about. One of which I haven't even, and I probably won't start until spooky season is over. With Lucy, did we finish up? We didn't finish talking about She-Hulk, did we?
No,
because we were kind of putting it off.
Right.
Maybe we should put it off another week. This is already kind of gone a little bit long.
Yeah. We did Werewolf by Night.
We did do Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to go back and watch it tomorrow, I think, as well. So, is that it? We done?
Time to go trick-or-treating now.
Time to go sleeping.
Trick-or-treating. And you sleeping.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. Eat some fucking candy. Drink some whiskey. Pair it all up into all a good pairing. Well, I don't know. I need like a Santa Claus
Happy pairing to all into all a good pairing.
Something like that. But it's Halloween. Like, check your candy for computers and razor blades.
Make sure your kids aren't eating drugs, and make sure you are.
Who is giving up? I ain't getting into it. Somebody really giving away drugs just to kids?
No, of course they're not. Of course they're not. Every year, those stupid fake news articles get around.
People like their drugs too much to give them away to kids. Now, come on.
What do they have to benefit from handing out drugs in candy bowls? And then is it a prank? You know what I mean? Like, are they just trying to prank parents?
Prank you. Yeah. I don't know.
Prank you.
Prank
Next.
you. Prank you.
Hey, thanks for listening or watching this week's episode. Eric, bring us home so the people can get out of here and they know how to support us.
I am the keeper of the mutant. No, that would take too long for me to.
Oh, that guy's back.
Yeah, that would take too long.
Our old weird butler.
Butler, get out.
We've been meaning to send him to the farm for a little while, so maybe next week we'll have a ceremony.
It would be going way too long. So if you want your own butler, go over to patreon.com where you can support the show for as little as $1 a month. And at $5, you get all the uncut stuff.
I'm the only one in charge of the Patreon. Do you mean that I'm going to become somebody's butler?
There's always a tier. Money talks.
Create your own tier level where Perry becomes your butler.
Yeah, I mean that's if it paid all your bills and became your full-time job and you had extra money. That could do it, right? I
mean, we are not talking nickel and diamond here.
No,
I mean, we are talking some serious pesos.
You know, PTO days and vacation pay and overtime and holiday pay.
Paid time off and sick leave and parental leave.
Yeah.
I mean, all the things.
Insurance.
All
that. So
if you want to be my sugar daddy.
Yeah. There could be a tier for that. Send Perry a message if you want to get in on that. Otherwise, pay $5 and you can get all the bonus stuff, the uncut episodes. You can listen to stuff early. You can go back and listen to all the Pours from the Floor, all the sips and snacks, and all the other stuff we get out.
We don't do sips and snacks over there.
I mean,
Samply
Irresistible. You get sips and snacks if you just listen to that. So hit subscribe. If you want to send us an email, send an email to thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com. Just want to send a comment or a suggestion, anything like that, you can shoot an email over there. If you want to get some merch, it's bourbonshop.threadless.com.
New designs. I'm going to have even more new designs up there soon. So if you have never bought a shirt from us, now is the time to do it. It's not just shirts. It's phone cases. It's bags.
Skateboards.
It's shower curtains. It's skateboards.
Condoms.
It's face masks, which is the condom of breathing. Mm-hmm. You could get a towel and you could wrap Timbip around your business after showering.
Yeah. A shirt is basically a condom for your chest. If you want to get some Whiskey Beauty merch,
I don't think that's how mine work.
Don't worry about it. What? You can go to whiskeymutant.myshopify.com. I really want to get rid of what I've got so I can get some new stuff going on there. So go buy some stuff. I'll put out a code. I'll put a code out. 25% off. Perry, tell them the code. Just make it up.
It's going to be WM25. And you know what? That code's going to apply at bourbonshop.threadless.com all the way through Black Friday.
There we go. WM25. You got it. Yeah, get some merch. If you want to leave a voicemail on the Bell Ring segment, which if you are listening, you saw a new episode pop up. It's a short history of Tim Bip, and it was all through the Bell Rings. They got their own episode. Todd Cooper got his own episode because he called the Bell Rings.
Thanks, Todd.
So if you want to get your, you probably won't get.
Have you listened through that, by the way?
Yes, I listened to it on the plane. It's pretty good.
The ending was my favorite.
Yeah,
part.
I love the ending. If you want to hear your voice on the podcast, leave a bell ring at 859-428-8253. Then on all social media at My Bourbon Pod, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can join the Facebook group. This is My Bourbon Podcast Facebook group. If you want to follow Perry, it's PRitter1792 on Instagram. If you want to follow me, at Whiskey Mutant on Instagram, TikTok, and what else I got? I got a Twitter. I don't really do anything with it. Yeah,
I used to say too, if you wanted to reach the show, you could use the hashtag MyBourbonPod. I haven't checked that hashtag in a long time, so
hashtag us.
Let's see if anything's come through on that.
Check it out.
On that hashtag.
While Perry's looking at that, you can go to YouTube where you can follow the show. This is My Bourbon Podcast, and you can watch this episode on YouTube. And then Perry goes live every Thursday night at 8. And then leave us a review: 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star. We don't care. We'll read it out. And then just tell everybody about the show.
Last tag on Twitter for hashtag MyBourbonPod was from This Is My Bourbon Podcast on April 10th of 2021.
Oh, you tagged yourself.
Even then, there's only been 3 tweets.
What about Instagram?
Oh, I don't know. It's a very good question. Give me a second.
Give me a second. Let's search it up.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bare necessities. Simple.
2 weeks ago from Tony Bag of Donuts. He said, I need more of these. And it was in reference to the Perry's Punch and the My Daily Sherbet.
Okay. Well, there are some of those left, I believe. No maple, though.
No. Man. Not a lot of those.
Let's get them hashtags going.
But there's been a few. It's okay. But anyway, that's it for this week. Thank you guys so much for subscribing, for liking, for watching, for listening, for sharing with your friends. Next week, I don't know what's happening next week. Eric and I are going to be back together for sure, though. I don't know where he went. Did he take his headphones off? Oh, I know what he's doing. I mean, I'm sorry. My old co-host has left, and now we've got the return of the other guy. Here he is. It's
Marzipan, bitch.
It's Freddy Minnick. He's back to say bye to everybody for one last time on Spooky Season. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Until then, I'm Perry.
I'm Eric. Inside of Freddy Minnick.
It's gross. And this is My Bourbon Podcast.